stop sharing the screen also.
Thank you, Lauren, and welcome everybody. It's exciting to be with all of you. More than 60 people in the room. Somebody in chat saying that they're driving home from work or class or something, and joining us that way. So it's good to have all of you here. So special welcome to all the students who are here. A welcome and thank you to the faculty and staff who are here helping out, and also to the alumni and employers. It's such an impressive array of alumni and employers that are here to share with us today. I mean, if you look over the list, I like alliteration. So I'm gonna identify some H's, P's, E's. So healthcare, hospitality, higher ed, human services, all here in this space. Energy, engineering, education, all here in this space. Public relations, publishing, public service, all here with us, and many, many more. But I want to emphasize that I just gave you titles for sort of professional areas or career areas, but there's not an easy or simple, thank goodness, match between a major and a job, a major and a career. Engineering firms need English majors. Healthcare and human services need people with computer skills. Public service, state government, federal government, nonprofits need people from all majors, from psychology, from criminal justice, from biology, and any major that you are. You are here at a networking event. As we say, it's not a career fair. We're not talking about one-to-one matches between some very specific thing you're studying and a job that you're going to talk about, a specific position. No, you're here to build relationships and to learn things. So all of you students, as you circulate through these various rooms, meeting these endlessly interesting alumni and employers, you can learn more about them. They'll learn more about you. It's all about learning about opportunities and seeing all the opportunities are out there, because all of the opportunities that exist now are only a fraction of what will exist 5 years from now, 10 years from now. A good education, the education you're getting at Widener University in the College of Arts and Sciences, will prepare you not just for some of the jobs you may hear about today, but for jobs that don't even exist yet, right? Because of how quickly our economy and our society is changing. We prepare you to be nimble, adaptable, successful, right out of the chute and for the long haul. So we're really happy that all of you are here. And I am now going to turn it back to Lauren or whoever is next.
Thanks, Dean Leaman. That was awesome. All right, I'm going to share a slide really quickly, and then we're going to hop into our panel discussion. So today on our panel, we have wonderful guests that are here to share a little bit about their professional experience with us. So we have James or Jim Kerr, who is the VP of Global Public Relations and Social Media at FIS. We have Amanda Bule, who is a graduate student here at Widener University studying human sexuality and getting her MBA. And we also have Emma Irving, who is a former English and creative writing major, and now currently a writer and a business owner. So I'm going to stop share now, and we will find you guys and pin you eventually so that your videos will float to the top. But I'm just going to throw out our first question. And then this round, I'm going to call on each of you to answer, and then we'll just stay in that order just to keep the flow going. So Jim, you're going to go first. And my first question for our panel is, could you guys each share with us your undergraduate major? And could you tell us a little bit about how your background as a College of Arts and Sciences major has helped you in your graduate programs or your professional pursuits since graduation?
Sure. Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's great seeing you all, even virtually. So it seems to be the way we're having all the events anymore. So actually, Dean Leaman, what you just said resonated with me because that's kind of my path. I was at Temple University. I was a English major. And then I started off in journalism and then went to English major. It just seemed to fit me better. I got out of there. I worked in journalism for several years. I went back to Temple for a master's of fine arts and creative writing in English from Temple. Then I went to work in the business world and somehow found my way into public relations, which actually makes sense if you think about it. I've done a number of things. I was working at Unisys. I headed up their global communications there, did all different types of communications, whether they're internal, external. I also did investor relations for a number of years. When I moved into investor relations at Unisys, I saw the need to go back for an MBA. I was the person back in college that didn't want anything to do with accounting classes or financial classes or anything like that. Although it was intriguing once I got into that area, I really kind of enjoyed it. So I went back for my MBA at Villanova and did that at night for 5 years while my kids were, growing up. And then headed into investor relations. Eventually headed up global public relations and investor relations and at Unisys. I left there 5 years ago, went to FIS. FIS is probably a company, maybe the biggest company you've never heard of. It provides a software, it's based in Jacksonville. It's a financial technology firm that provides the software that runs modern banking systems or institutional shareholder systems or the payment networks. More than likely your bank runs on our software. More than likely you're using our payment systems when you pay for things or when you withdraw money from ATMs. So, and also we do a lot of merchant stuff as well, point of sale as well as e-commerce, like Walmart uses the company's payments, gateways and systems. So at FIS, I head up the global public relations and social media business group. It's about 15 of us, and then we have agencies around the world that do outreach to the media. So I'm a CES person. I'm a College of Arts and Sciences person. And by the way, I'm also a writer and a blogger. I have a book coming out next year or later this year. We're trying to figure out exactly when. So the College of Arts and Sciences at Temple and just in general has helped me immensely with the discipline around writing and learning how to be a good communicator is fundamental, foundational for pretty much any job in public relations, social media, marketing in general with any big company. But it's I found my background gave me all kinds of skills that I didn't expect that I would be using, but I am, like the broad perspective, the ability to kind of look across disciplines and make connections, and not just be in the stovepipe, which is what most people are in business. They're in the stovepipe, and the job that I do, or public affairs, things like that, you have to be able to see across the disciplines, make the connections, see the interrelationships, see how things are connected, the economy, social issues, business issues, government, the way they impact each other, human behavior, psychology, sociology. It's all part of the of the training here. So the writer training, the broad perspective, and then I complemented that with the financial understanding, which has really helped a lot. And I would encourage you, if all the students here, if you may not be interested in financial stuff, how to read a balance sheet or cash flow statement or whatever, it's immensely important if you want to get into the business world. That's the language of business. It's the language that the executives speak. So anyway, I hope that's a long-winded answer to your question.
No, it was perfect. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Sure.
I'm going to move from you, a writer, to another writer, Emma. I'm going to ask you to go next. So share with us, I mean, I kind of already did, your undergraduate major and how you feel that your education's helped you since graduation.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Lauren and team. This is a wonderful event. So I was an English major at Widener, graduated in 2018. I also got a certificate in textual scholarship, which has been really foundational to my work in publishing that I do. So I am self-employed, and the business that I own is me, essentially, as a sole proprietorship. So my title is always changing whenever I feel like it. So right now I am a writer, editor, and opening shift barista at Starbucks. So I'm mostly freelance in publishing, but also in journalism, web content writing, and just kind of have been saying yes to everything that anybody will pay me to write since I graduated. But being in CAS has been, the soul of how I've gotten to where I am and how I want to keep going. My career in publishing began at Widener. I got to go to the Association of Writers and Writing Programs conference through the English department. They sponsored a few students to go every year. And on my second year, when I was a senior, I was in the exhibit hall talking to exhibitors and came upon Green Writers Press. Talked to the head publisher for a really long time, and then had an internship the next day. And that was, what I began my life after college doing, and that opened every other door for me since. My first book that I edited came out in April. We've sold about 1,000 copies now, which is pretty good for a very small press in pandemic times. So going to that conference, firstly through CAS, changed my life. And then more, I guess, spiritually, kind of spending my days reading and writing and talking about the humanity in class. It made me very wise to approaching my post-college life with creativity and a deep sense of my values. So I was able to say I want to prioritize my writing, I want to prioritize my family, I want to prioritize travel. And I've found the space to do all that by kind of doing a lot of other different small things all at once. So that's been hugely transformational. And then the community of people, I just can't say enough about. My English department, we have a really strong alumni group. We've been doing a lot of workshops, especially during the pandemic, but I've never really left that home that I found in the English department. And my professors and my peers have been so supportive and have given me so many connections in my postgraduate life. So that as well has been, transformational for me. So love CAS, love the humanities, love my English department. And that's how I've been able to do so many cool things that I've been able to do.
Thank you, Emma. That was awesome. And Amanda, we'll wrap up this question with you. So undergraduate major, and then how you feel your background as a CAS major helps you.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda. I use she or her pronouns. I actually started my undergrad at UC Santa Cruz. I have a bachelor's degree in cognitive science. And as Lauren introduced me, it kind of differs from what I'm currently doing. I'm currently a graduate student in one of the newest dual degree programs, which is the Master's of Education in Human Sexuality and the Master's of Public Administration program. And I actually got started in kind of the sexuality field when I was an undergrad because I wanted to be in this memory lab as a research assistant that went well with my cognitive science degree, but I was actually rejected from that lab and then ended up applying for this sexual identity and diversity lab, and then got into that and ended up really, really liking the work. So I always like to phrase it in my head, it's not a rejection, it's a redirection. I always think about that. And then, yeah, my advisor in that lab actually told me about Widener, and doing more research, I found out about the MPA dual that I could do. And I've been loving the program ever since. I have a little bit less experience than James and Emma since I'm only in my second semester of the grad program, but I've loved the CAS group so far. Something that has been really helpful for me is the Widener Connect site. I don't know how much you guys have used it, but it's been great for networking, and all of the alumni are so welcoming. You can even set up meetings with people to talk. I was able to talk with someone who creates curriculum for fraternity and sororities for like violence prevention and sex education. So yeah, I think what everyone else has been saying, just like taking advantage of every opportunity and like not really putting yourself in a box. I think that's what has gotten me where I am today.
Dang, it sounds like you guys all said a lot of yeses right off the bat, which has helped you all learn. All right, our next question is, I guess if you can put yourselves back in your shoes as an undergraduate student, what did you think you would do when you graduated? And then how did you learn about your first job or your grad program? Jim, we'll start with you, and I'm going to go in the same order. I'm just going to give us we have 9 minutes until we have to hop into the rotations.
Sure. So when I was an undergrad, there was no question what I wanted to be. It was a writer. I've had that passion since I was in my teens. It still was my passion, quite frankly. So it kind of just went from there. I never thought I was in journalism. I studied journalism for a couple of years at Temple. So that was in my head, how I would get to be, at least make a living while trying to become a novelist or a short story writer or a poet, whatever. So it was journalism, writing. So again, my first job after college, I don't know exactly how I got it. Maybe I saw it in a newspaper, because back then they had newspapers, physical newspapers. And just found out about it, went to work for a local newspaper and then a daily before jumping into the corporate world. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's sort of my path.
Perfection. Thank you.
So I had no idea what I wanted to do as an undergrad. I was so immersed in my program and was so open to exploring everything. I didn't want to too early put a label on myself, and I feel like I'm still kind of in that phase a little bit. I thought vaguely publishing would be a good spot for me. I was doing the textual scholarship certificate, so working with books and text transmission and editorial influence and all that sort of stuff. So I thought publishing would be good. And then I went to that conference, like I said, and got the internship for this small press, and then, really been diving into publishing since then. But concurrently, when I moved home after college, I got a job at a local paper and started doing whatever writing they would pay me to do. And then I just started forming this more cohesive vision of myself as both somebody who's working in editing and publishing, somebody who's writing, and then, just being open to exploring, those new things. But yeah, still don't really have a clear image of really what I want to do, but I find that, exploring all these little pieces has been really helpful and fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, so like I said, I have a cognitive science degree from UC Santa Cruz. And with that, I thought I was going to go into research or maybe kind of do a PhD program or do user experience. A lot of the people that did cognitive science do user experience with like Google and things like that. But yeah, I eventually did end up working with the memory lab a little bit concurrently with the sexual identity and diversity lab. And I just realized how much I preferred the sexual identity and diversity lab work. We were working on a sex education research project where we coded thousands of questions from students grades 5 through 12, questions that they had after experiencing a sex education program. And I just found it fascinating. And my work in the memory lab was more like, is it helpful to use highlighters? Like, let's look at how people learn better, which is really interesting. But as a career path, I found that I really wanted to pursue the sex education, especially since it kind of more directly worked with people. And then I think that I decided to put the MPA onto that because I don't necessarily want to be directly an educator or a therapist. I really want to work in policy and like big picture things like that, because I know how much work the sex education system needs in the country, and I definitely want to be able to influence it.
That's so cool. It just goes along with that yes, like you guys all have this like yes mentality, and it helps you kind of learn, what is for you, what isn't for you, and then hone in on those values. Our last question, and we can do this kind of rapid fire, is just if you could give one piece of advice to a student that's currently in college right now, what advice would you give?
Same order?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah, it's a tough one. I just think it's all about following your passions. What Steve Jobs always says, you got to follow your passion. It may not be clear how you're going to make money from it, but at the heart, it's got to be where your heart is. So, and then keep your mind open to new possibilities, so that you were saying, Amanda, and be curious, what you were saying, Emma. So kind of three pieces, I guess, all connected.
Yeah, I feel like my advice follows that path. I would say yes to everything for like a year. Do, whatever you can to open a bunch of doors, do all the tedious work that nobody else wants to do, treat with a light heart, but say yes to everything. And then after a year, sit yourself down, have a serious conversation about what you've learned, the work that you value, and then say, I'm going to start saying no to some things, and then draw that line there. So say yes for a while and then start to say no. That's my advice.
I agree. Yeah, definitely keep your options open. I think that it's so important as a young person to not put yourself in a box, because, you can get caught up on like, oh, I spent so much time in this one major, but it doesn't mean that if you choose a different field, that major wasn't useful. Like you learn like data analysis and writing, like Jim was saying, and critical thinking, and everything you learn in one major can be applied to whatever career you have. So don't put yourself in a box. Say yes to everything, like Emma was saying. And also don't get caught up on comparing yourself to others, because I think that people have so many different experiences right after undergrad. Some people go directly into work, others take internships, but don't compare yourself, because everyone's paths are completely different, and just, do what makes you happy.
That's really good advice. That's really good advice from all of you. All righty. So this concludes the employer and alumni panel. We're going to give you guys a virtual claps